Hello, this is Lindsay Pointer, sending a video to say thank you for selecting me for the Rotary Global Grant Scholarship. This scholarship will support me as I work to complete my PhD in Restorative Justice at Victoria University of Wellington in New Zealand. I first discovered restorative justice through my undergraduate studies at Colorado College. The simple shift from a focus on violations of law and punishment to harms and what can be done to make things right struck me as profoundly powerful. It is human to desire justice after an incident of wrongdoing occurs, but how often do we pause to consider our definition of justice or how justice is best achieved? I was trained as a facilitator in Longmont, Colorado, and I remember one of my first cases was a 23-year-old woman and her grandmother who had received several phone calls from a 26-year-old man threatening physical and sexual violence. It was shocking to read the police transcript of what this man had threatened, and despite all that I know and believe about the innate goodness of all people, I began to form a mental image of a monster. When I spoke with the granddaughter, she shared that she was a survivor of sexual assault, and she and her grandmother were living in fear, wondering if this man would show up and attack. They also had questions they needed to ask, and they needed something to help them heal. When I spoke with the young man in the pre-conference meeting, he was not the monster his words portrayed, but a victim of violent assault himself. He also struggled with anger issues, and when he made the calls, he thought he was speaking with a person he was in a violent road rage incident with. He felt immense shame about what he had said. Through the restorative justice process, I was able to bring the victim and offender together. At the beginning of the circle, the young man understood that what he had done was wrong, and that it could make someone feel afraid. But it wasn't until he heard from the grandmother and granddaughter about their past experiences and fear following the incident that he understood the true impact of his actions. For the women, it was a chance to put a face to their fear and to understand the whole person, not just the terrifying voice on the phone. All three were able to move forward from the incident, the offender towards repairing the harms and addressing his anger, and the victim towards feeling safe again. If this case had been handled by the court, this opportunity to talk about the incident, to identify the harms, and for the offender to take responsibility, apologize, and work towards making things right never would have happened. The phone calls would have continued to be an element of fear and hostility in their lives, impacting their interactions with the world. Instead, that fear and hostility was transformed into understanding and growth. It has been my passion and mission since I first learned about restorative justice to make this transformative and healing process available to as many people as possible. In human interactions, conflict is inevitable, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. Through restorative justice, conflict can be transformed into an opportunity for greater understanding and reconciliation. Studying restorative justice in New Zealand gives me the opportunity to understand how the process can be more thoroughly integrated into the traditional justice system without compromising its effectiveness. I plan to carry the insight I gain here back to the United States to assist with the broader implementation of restorative justice. The restorative philosophy is not only applicable to the justice system. This way of approaching wrongdoing has the potential to influence human interactions on a multitude of levels, from families to schools, to cities, to political dialogues, to international relations. When we foster spaces of understanding and empathy, true peace is possible. Through my studies and work in the field, I hope to be part of this important shift. Thank you so much for your support.